midnight screams.
I'm dictating this to my phone's voice assistant because I need to warn you about what happened. My hands are shaking so badly I can't type, and even if I could, I wouldn't be able to see the screen anymore. Slashing. 3 months ago, I was barely making rent. I'm an audio restoration specialist. I clean up old recordings, digitize archives, that sort of thing. The work is sporadic, and I'd been living on ramen and rejection emails for weeks when I saw the posting on an audio freelancing website. Specialist needed for government digitization project, $15,000 per week. Security clearance required. Remote work. Apply with resume. $15,000 a week. I applied immediately, figuring it was a scam. But 2 days later, my phone rang from a blocked number. Mr. Hayes? The woman's voice was flat, professional. This is Miss Vickers with the Department of Archives Management. We've reviewed your application for the digitization project. Oh, great. Is this a real position? Yes. The work involves digitizing classified audio materials from Cold War-era research programs. You would work from home on our equipment. The material is sensitive. You would sign a non-disclosure agreement with severe penalties for breach. Do you accept? I said yes, obviously. The next morning, 6 a.m. sharp, an unmarked white van pulled up outside my apartment. No company logo, no license plate I could make out. 2 men in plain clothes unloaded 17 boxes and made me sign for them without making eye contact. The whole thing took 4 minutes. Inside the boxes, a tape player I'd never seen before, industrial looking, heavy, with a brass plate reading Sensory Unit 7. 342 tapes in numbered sleeves, a laptop with all the network hardware physically removed, and a sealed envelope labelled Protocols. Read immediately. The protocols were typed on thick, yellowed paper that looked decades old. Mandatory protocols for Project Eyes. Work only between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. Digitize chase in sequential order. Never skip. If you hear a child's voice, stop the tape immediately and call this number. Do not continue listening. If you hear your own name, ignore it. It is a recording artifact. Never replay any section of tape. Forward only. If the tape player's red light blinks 3 times, leave your apartment for exactly 1 hour. Return only when the hour is complete. Keep all windows covered while working. You will sometimes hear knocking. Do not answer. Do not acknowledge it in any way. If you feel watched, you are. Continue working normally. Do not look at the tape player screen while recording. Keep your eyes on the laptop only. Failure to follow these protocols will result in immediate termination of contract and legal action. I read through them twice. Some made sense. Working at night, NDAs, that's normal. For classified work. The knocking thing was weird, but Rule 10 stopped me cold. The screen? Again was just a tape deck. Buttons for play, stop, fast forward. The brass identification plate, a VU meter. No screen anywhere. I caught the number Miss Vickers had used. Disconnected. $15,000. I could catch up on rent, pay off my credit cards, actually eat something that didn't come in a styrofoam cup. Lingering, I upped the equipment and covered my windows with bed sheets. At 11 p.m. exactly, I loaded the first tape. Bilingual tape 001, 03/17, 1973. Malignant, captivity, then a man's voice, tired and irritated. Interview with subject 12B, day 4 of observation period. Subject continues to insist the broadcasts contain instructions, not hallucinations. When asked to describe the voice giving instructions, subject becomes non-verbal and aggressive. Sedation required. Continuing tomorrow. Ubiquitous. Click. Silence. Then the different voice, younger, almost cheerful. Subject 12B, can you hear us? Good. Now, how many fingers are we holding up? How many fingers, Thomas? A pause. Then screaming. Not startled screaming, the kind that comes from deep animal terror. Possesses the tape ran for 43 minutes. Most of it was that screaming, occasionally interrupted by the younger voice asking calm questions. What do you see now, Thomas? Are they closer? How many are watching you? My stomach churning. When I finished, it was 12:20 a.m. 241 tapes left to go. The first week was like that. Disturbing, but manageable. Psychological experiments from the 70s and 80s. Sensory deprivation. People claiming to receive transmissions. And one word kept repeating. Observation. Not like scientific observation. The researchers said it with a capital O, like it was a specific process. I didn't understand it yet, but I would. I heard the knocking for the first time on night 4. 3 soft raps on my door at 1:47 a.m. Rule 8. Do not answer. Do not acknowledge. I kept working, but my hands were shaking. The knocking came 3 more times, evenly spaced, then stopped. On night 6, I heard my name. I was digitizing tape 034, an interview with someone from a remote viewing program. The subject was describing what they saw. A room, empty. No, wait, there's someone. They're working. They're alone. Then, clear as day. Haze. M. Haze. My blood went cold. My finger hovered over the stop button, but Rule 4 said to ignore it. Recording artifact. The subject continued. M. Hayes is listening to us right now. He doesn't understand yet. He thinks he's digitizing old recordings. Should we show him? Static. At the laptop screen for what felt like an hour. How could they know my name? These tapes were from the 70s. But I didn't replay it. Rule 5. I loaded number 035 with trembling hands. Week 2. Deported got worse. Much worse. Take 041 was footage, you could hear the film projector, of Operation Backward Eye. A doctor described showing subjects prepared visual stimuli to test if human consciousness could be accessed from observation space. Subjects became violent. One bit through their tongue, Another broke their fingers one by one while laughing. I had to pause the tape twice to throw up. The doctor stayed calm throughout. Subject exhibits extreme aversion response, attempting to remove own eyes, applying restraints. I kept telling myself it was just a job. The money kept appearing, 15,000 every Friday. I kept working. Came every night now with varying patterns, sometimes 3 raps, sometimes rhythms like Morse code. On night 9, it stopped mid-pattern. Then scratching. Something scratched at the bottom of my door. Light, exploratory, like fingers testing the gap. I wanted to run. I wanted to open the door and scream at whatever was out there. But I kept my eyes on the laptop. The scratching continued for 2 minutes, then stopped. But I'd felt it. That sensation from Rule 9. Being watched. Not like someone at a window, like something was behind my eyes, looking out through them. A weight in my skull, pressure behind my forehead, like someone was wearing my face from the inside. The feeling faded after the scratching stopped, but returned lights on during the day. Not that it helped. Week 3. Week 3, I was barely sleeping. The tapes haunted me during the day. The knocking haunted me at night. But I kept going. The money. I kept telling myself it was about the money. But tape 089 broke something in me. 41 minutes of static and the man's voice repeating, "They're in the walls now. They're in the walls now." I almost stopped it, almost called Ms. Vickers, but I listened to the whole thing. At the end, a different voice. Subject 303 has been vocalizing for 6 hours. Brain activity normal. Subject appears conscious but unresponsive. Eyes open but don't track movement. Pupils don't respond to light. It's as if something else is using them to look. As if subject 303 is still in there, but something else is borrowing his eyes. We believe he's experiencing observation space from the wrong side. Banged there in the dark for a long time. The phrase, "wrong side," wouldn't leave my head. Like there were 2 sides to observation, the watcher and the watched. Subject 303 had ended up on both at once. Night, while digitizing tape 095, I noticed something in the brass plate's reflection. My laptop screen, but also a faint rectangular glow underneath where the tape sat. I hadn't imagined it. There was something there. I examined the tape player closer. A hairline seam in the metal beneath the tape deck, like a panel, or a screen facing upward, hidden under the mechanism. 10. Do not look at the tape player screen while recording. Recording. There was a deck facing up. The tape covered it while playing. Before I kept my eyes on the laptop. Belongings. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. Windshield. 4. Fiancé. The tapes got more specific about observation space, and I was starting to piece together what they meant, what I was really doing here. Poisoning 107 was an interview with someone who they referred to as observation space expert. We believe observation space exists perpendicular to normal reality. When you watch something, you create a connection. Most of the time it's one way, but in certain conditions, the connection can become bidirectional. The thing you're watching can watch you back. And if it watches long enough, It can use that connection to cross over. My stomach dropped. Cross over? Into what? Into whom? Confiscated tape 114 answered that question. A woman's voice. Subject 421 has been in the observation chamber 96 hours. Continues to insist entities are communicating through the playback device. Describes them as us, but observing from permission side. Claims they can only fully manifest when seen at the right angle. Shuffling papers. Subject has gouged out their own eyes with their fingernails, screaming he couldn't let them finish watching, that he had to close the window. Subject expired at 14:33. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The pressure behind my eyes was so strong now I could barely focus. I understood what Subject 421 had done, why they'd done it. Unfinished side and close the window. Something could watch us from observation space, but needed permission, needed us to look at them, create that bidirectional connection. Our eyes became a window they could look through, or climb through, clinging. And I'd been creating that connection for 4 weeks. Wolfgang, it was 3:47 a.m. I should have stopped. I should have walked away right then, but I loaded tape 115, confessed, and the red light on the tape player blinked. Once, twice, 6, leave for exactly 1 hour. I grabbed my RAN. I didn't walk to the diner. I ran, my heart pounding, looking over my shoulder the whole way. I sat in that booth watching the clock, knowing something was happening in my apartment, knowing I didn't want to go back. But after 60 minutes exactly, I did. The smell hit me first. Copper, thick and organic, like a butcher shop. And something else underneath. Something sweet and rotten, like meat left in the sun. All my windows were open. The bedsheets covering them were torn into strips on the floor. Was still running, but tape 115 had been removed. Confiscated, a new tape. No number, no sleeve. Blank white casing. Billboard and the tape deck assembly had been pulled apart. The hidden screen was visible. 4 inches wide, LCD, glowing faintly. Now exposed. And it was showing something. Security camera. Style. Of my apartment. Of my desk. Sitting there, working. The footage was from earlier tonight. I could see the timestamp in the corner. I watched myself load tapes, adjust my laptop, take a sip of water. But there was something else in the frame, behind me, in the corner of my apartment. Contested. A shape, tall, impossibly thin, like someone had grabbed a human silhouette and stretched it vertically. It stood perfectly still in every frame. I spun around. My apartment was empty. I looked back. The footage continued. The shape hadn't moved, but I could see it clearly now. It had been there for hours, standing behind me while I worked, watching me through the camera. Then it moved, frame by frame, approaching my past self, leaning down, its head, if it had a head, lowering toward my neck. My phone rang, Miss Vickers. Mr. Hayes, you're looking at the screen. Not a question. What the fuck is this? What are these tapes? What is that thing? Stop looking at the screen. Look away right now. Why? Tell me what's happening. The tapes aren't recordings, Mr. Hayes. They're observations. Documentation of observation space research. Every tape exposes you to that space. The more you watch, the more you create connections between our world and observation space. And the things there, they've been watching you back. What things? The subjects called them watchers. They exist in observation space. They want to cross over, but need permission. They need someone to create a stable, bi-directional connection. A window. That's what the screen shows you, what the watchers see. And if you look at it, if you see yourself being observed from their side, what happens? You give them permission to finish. You become the window. They use your eyes to look into our world. And once they're inside, once they're using your vision, Mr. Hayes, stop looking at the screen. But I kept watching. The shape in the footage opened something. Not a mouth, a space where a mouth should be. Flexibility where eyes. Hundreds, thousands, all different sizes, all crammed into that impossible space. All watching, all pointed at me. The protocols were designed to prevent this, Ms. Vickers said, voice cracking. The night hours isolate you. The covered windows remove external reference points. But Rule 10 was the most important. The screen shows you what they see. If you see that, if you understand you're being observed from observation space, you complete the connection. You give them permission. The shape straightened, turned, looked directly at the camera. Preventively, something shifted, a tearing in my head, like my consciousness was being pulled backward through my own eyes, like my vision was a tunnel and something was rushing up it from the wrong direction. The pressure behind my eyes exploded into pain. I could feel them, not just watching, inside, behind my eyes, using my vision as a doorway. Outward my apartment. It was there, so panned in my living room, the same impossible thinness, wrong angles that hurt to perceive, and its face, the space that opened, was full of eyes. But they weren't looking at me. They were in me, behind my eyeballs, watching out through my pupils, using my eyes as cameras, observing reality from inside a human being. I understood what the tapes had been, what I'd been doing for 4 weeks. The tapes weren't documentation. They were a selection process. The government was trying to find someone who could survive exposure to observation space, someone who could create a stable connection. They'd lost all the others. Maybe I would be different. The protocols weren't protection. They were preparation, isolating me, conditioning me, making me vulnerable. Every tape opened me a little more. Every night made the connection stronger. And the knocking, the scratching, that had been the watchers. Testing, checking if I was ready. Miss Vickers was screaming through the phone, "Mr. Hayes, you have to end the observation. It's the only way to close the window. You have to." My reflection in some of its thousands of eyes. Hundreds of me, all trapped in those pupils, all screaming silently. I understood what Subject 421 had done. Politically, why they'd gouged out their own eyes. You can't observe without eyes. And if you can't observe, the watchers can't observe through you. The only way to close a window is to destroy it. I grabbed the letter opener from my desk drawer. I want you to understand, they were behind my eyes, using them. I could feel them there like pressure, like weight, like fingers wrapped around my optic nerves. The only way to sever the connection was to destroy their cameras. So I did. I destroyed the window. Now, that was 6 weeks ago, injecting us the hospital 3 days later. The doctor said I'd lost both eyes. The damage was too severe. I'd severed the optic nerves completely. The CIA cleaned out my apartment while I was in the ICU. Men in hazmat suits, according to my neighbour. They took everything. The tapes, the player, the laptop, all of it. But they paid me in full, all 12 weeks. $180,000 appeared in my account with a memo. Contract fulfilled. Vickers sent one final email. "Mr. Hayes, thank you for your service. The observation has been terminated. The connection has been severed. You will not be contacted again. We recommend you do not discuss this experience. For your own safety and for reasons of national security." I'm completely blind now. The doctors say the scarring on my optic nerves is inconsistent with physical trauma, like something burned them out from the inside before I ever touched them. But here's the thing. Sometimes I still feel them. Not anymore. The connection is broken. I made sure of that. Blinked, bumming them, waiting, disappointed, like I was supposed to be something more, like I was supposed to complete the process, let them fully cross over. And I realized something that keeps me awake at night. There were 342 tapes. I only made it to tape 115. What was on the other 227 tapes? What did they show? What did they prepare you for? Because the further you go, the stronger the connection becomes. The more the knocking sounds like communication. The more you start to feel like you're not digitizing tapes. You're answering a call. And God help me, I think the process wasn't complete. I think if I'd made it to tape 342, something else would have happened. Something worse than just being a window. I had my friend check that same audio freelancing website last week. While the job posting is live again. Freezes, same wording, same pay. Filmmakers, they're looking for someone new. Someone who will make it further than I did. If you see that job posting, if you apply, if they send you those boxes, don't follow the protocols. Break Rule 10 on the first night. Look at the screen immediately. See what they see. Maybe if you see it early enough, before you've worked on enough tapes, before the connection is strong enough, maybe you can stop before it's too late. Or maybe you'll just give them permission faster. I don't know. All I know is this. The knocking started again last week. Even though I'm blind, even though I destroyed the window, I hear it every night now. 3 raps on my door at exactly 1:47 a.m. And last night, I heard the scratching again. And then, so quiet, I almost missed it. My name. They're still there, still watching, still waiting. And I think destroying my eyes didn't close the window after all. I think it just changed which side of it I'm on. Because here's what I haven't told anyone. Sometimes, in the dark, I can still see. Not with my eyes, they're gone. But I can perceive things, shadows, shapes, movement. And I think I'm seeing from observation space now. If I'm on their side of the window, looking back, and if that's true, then I need to warn you. If you've already applied for that job, go check your door right now. Because I can see you. I can see you reading this. And I'm not alone. Are others here with me in observation space? Hundreds of us. All the failed subjects. All the people who worked on the tapes and couldn't complete the process. We're all here, stuck between worlds, watching. And the thing is, we're so lonely. We need someone to see us back. We need someone to complete what we started. So please, if they send you the boxes, if you start the work, make it to tape 342. Pledged them finish. Because I can feel them preparing something. The watchers. They've been waiting for so long. Person who makes it all the way through. I think they're going to open a door. Legalization. Not a window. The door. And then all of us, everyone stuck in observation space, will finally be able to come home. If the knocking is at my door right now as I dictate this, 3 raps, I'm going to answer it this time. I think I'm ready to see what's on the other side.